churned. Had Mama B also sensed the truth and chosen not to tell her? The old holler witch, who had been in Solomon's Cross long before Tad had been born, always seemed to know things that others didn't. She could sense more and see more. Ever since she'd begun her holler witch training with Mama B, Jemma had wondered if one day she would attain the same kind of discernment. Right now, the discernment and clarity she needed seemed far out of her reach. She also needed to get some sleep. Once again, she spoke her thoughts out loud. Maybe I'm dreaming all this. Tad confirmed she wasn't. I'm sorry, Jem. It's not a dream. He did sound regretful. Jemma wasn't the only one struggling. After dropping the bomb, Tad had paced in their dimly lit kitchen. It was early in the morning. Neither was paying attention to the position of the sun in the sky. Neither had slept all night. Tad sank into the chair on the opposite side of the table from his daughter. The longer he waited for her to gather her thoughts, the more on edge he became. He knew they would have to hash things out. Jemma's silence unnerved him. He sighed deeply. Look, Jemma, I wanted to tell you, but Annie... He stopped, shook his head, and corrected himself. Delilah didn't think it was best. Since when do we care about what she thought was best? Jemma thought with indignation. Tad's words had faltered because he was thinking about his wife more than he wished to. When they were married, Tad had called her by her middle name. Delilah had called him Tad instead of Thaddeus. Since the divorce, Tad and Jemma had called Delilah by her first name, making any mention of her seem stiff and formal. Sometimes, however, Annie slipped out of Tad's mouth. Jemma couldn't blame him. He had been married to her for over 16 years before their divorce. Tad had been deeply in love with the woman, and the transition had been difficult for him. It still gave him no right to have kept secrets from Jemma. Her anger bloomed. It might have been okay when she was little, but not after all they had been through together. Jemma never could hide what she was feeling. Tad read the rising anger in her face and attempted to quell it. To be frank, Jem, Annie kept her propensity for the art from me for quite some time. He didn't correct Annie to Delilah this time. His mind was lodged in the past, in a time when the woman he loved wasn't trying to run away from him any chance she got. I didn't know about the witchery when we met, and wasn't told before we married either. I only found out later when I caught Annie using some herbal remedy magic to help with being pregnant. A weak smile formed on his lips. With you, of course. He sighed, leaning back in his seat. I freaked out, of course. At first, it just seemed like medicine, and then I thought she might have developed some kind of drug problem. But over time, I knew it was something more. When Annie finally confessed that it was magic, of all things in the world, I didn't quite take it well. Jemma stiffened. Her father had never been prejudiced. He was one of the most understanding and accepting people she had ever met. He continued. I wasn't freaking out so much at the magical aspect, but because something so major had been kept from me for so long, and by my own wife. Yeah, tell me about it, Jemma replied dryly before she could stop herself. Her lingering indignation was audible. Tad looked earnest. I never forbade her from doing anything with magic. Not that it would have done anything, but we were about to have a baby, and I just wasn't sure what it would mean for our family. Honestly, Jemma, I almost gave up. Tad paused for a moment. I almost walked away. I hate myself every day for even thinking of it, for even thinking of leaving you before you were born. His voice conveyed his agony. His hands fell from his head to the table. Jemma couldn't speak. She could only take in what her father told her. Annie was desperate to keep our relationship together, he continued. That was surprising, since it was Annie who had ditched them 3 years ago for one of the flimsiest reasons possible. She threw herself into being normal, Tad explained, and hid that other part of her life even more. The result was that Annie got so used to keeping secrets from me and everybody else about the art, she decided to have other secrets as well. Other lovers and the like. To her, it was simple, just another lie in the name of...